Nick Smolinski signed a training camp agreement with the Detroit Dragons. How you doing?
Good, hanging in there, trying to work out as much as I can in my basement right now. So other than that, that's about it.
Yeah, we saw a lot of videos you've been posting over the last few months about training and trying to get prepared for camp, and that's a little harder in your basement, I would assume.
Yeah, it makes it a little more difficult. I do about an hour workout a day in my basement, and then pretty much skate about a couple miles a day. That's about it, with outdoor wheels on, and just wheel around. And Kyle Schultz and I have been training at a rink up near our house, but they shut us down, so can't do that anymore either. So yeah, we were doing what we could for the most part.
Yes, unfortunately, obviously, due to this pandemic, we've had to postpone a year. I mean, we saw every other major sports league do it. The Indy 500 postponed until August, Kentucky Derby, the Olympics.
Right.
Unfortunately for us, we knew we would literally destroy this entire thing if we tried to launch right now. And it wasn't worth the hard work and that you guys have put in, that we put in, the sponsors, to try to go. So we waited a year, gives us more time. And I think even for a guy like you, it gives you a little better opportunity to continue to train and be really prepared for the camp. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I mean, obviously it sucks because we all wanted to get it going, but you know, any extra step for anybody, not just me or anybody, to prepare and be ready for the next year is better. You know, it sucks now though because a lot of the rinks in Detroit are shut down for good. Even losing Dumars was tough, you know. So I mean, that's where a lot of our guys would skate, you know, throughout the week just to kind of get a skate in or whatever, an extra skate in, and having that shut down is rough. But it's you know, we're making the best of it, I guess. Any outside training we can do, and so.
Yeah, losing Dumars was definitely a shot in the heart to, I think, the roller hockey world.
I at least the country for sure. You know, it's tough.
Yeah, I grew up in a roller skating industry, so I played in my parents' roller rink, and my first ever actual roller hockey experience in terms of boards, sport court, glass was at Dumars.
Okay.
So it was the first place I ever went that was actually a real roller hockey rink. So it was, you know, kind of a little bit, even though I wasn't there as much as you guys, it was like, wow, that was the first place I ever skated. And I think the last place I played. So
yeah. I mean, and having the NRHL there for the first two seasons, it was, you know, it's a big, it's a mecca of roller in the area, and it's tough seeing it go. You know, there's a lot of guys that reach out to me and that I know from playing at Dumars forever, that are like, hey, what's going on? Have you heard anything? It's like, I don't know much, you know. And that rink Kyle and I were skating at, you know, we were kind of keeping it a secret because we didn't want it to get shut down. So people kept kind of asking where it was and things. It's like, well, we don't want to tell you because then, you know, we're going to lose it, but we ended up losing it anyway. So it sucks, but you know.
But you mentioned the first two, you played in the first two seasons we did. And obviously we've taken and we've amped it up and scaled it to a much larger scale. But the guys who haven't had a chance, I mean, how did it feel? Because you're a tournament guy who played in the league. Could you tell the big difference between playing the 5 games in maybe a weekend to a season?
It's going to be a big difference. I think, well, I mean, if you take it into consideration the toll on your body it takes, I mean, I guess it's about the same, right? I mean, you're looking at a full 3-period game, 20 minutes, right? That's what it's going to be, 20 minutes.
Not sure we've decided that yet. It's between 18 and 20.
Okay. So, I mean, a full 3-period game and you cut it down, that's basically roughly right around the same amount of time you play in 3 round robin games in term. So, I mean, it's going to be a toll on the body no matter what. I think it's, in my opinion, having that to look forward to a couple of games a week during the season is better than one tournament a year or whatever you play. It all depends on the player too, because some of these guys, they can afford to take off work for all 3 big tournaments a year, and it's like, no, not all of us can do that. So some of us can only afford to take off, for the one big tournament a year. And with NRHL, it's nice because you can put in your time off ahead of time. The schedule will be out, so you can say, I need these dates off because I'm going to be out of town, or instead of playing those big tournaments.
No, I think one of the big differences if I was playing would be if I whack a guy in a tournament pretty hard at the end of the first game, I may not see him again till next year.
For sure.
If I do that in the NRHL, game 1, I'm probably going to see him 5 or 6 more times.
Yeah.
I might give myself a second thought on giving that whack at the end of a bad loss.
Yeah. I think the rivalry behind it is going to be very, very interesting. And obviously, I know you guys are looking at expanding and going, more teams. But even having those 4 teams to start, seeing the rivalries, just for guys I know that are on each team, I know that, some of us from Detroit, we're friends off the floor, but when we play against each other, one of us will give each other a whack here and there. So it's kind of fun to know that I'm going to deal with that for, 5 games a year. It makes it fun and interesting.
So you mentioned the guys, your team.
Yeah.
You have a player on the team who has arguably won the most prestigious trophy in all of sports in Chad LaRose. He won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
You got Jerry Kuhn, who's played at the highest levels, Zidlowski, who leads the East Coast, and his team of points, Milan, and then you got Hawks. Hawk, what do you think of the roster so far that's been drafted?
When I look at the roster that's drafted, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm third line. But other than that, it's good. It's a solid crew. I like the depth we have, and the goal scoring we have is great because you add a guy like me who's more, I guess I like to consider myself like a all-around guy, right? I'm not just a goal scorer. I play both ends. So it's nice to have those guys that are going to be goal scorers. So I don't have to focus strictly on goal scoring. It's not going to be my job. And that's what I like. So, the pressure of goal scoring is off of me, and I can worry about Hawkins taking care of the scoring and Sid taking care of the scoring. So it's nice to have that, to think about.
So are you planning to play as a forward?
Honestly, typically I'm a forward if that's the way it goes. I know in the past NRHL seasons, I was up and down and moving forward and back, but it doesn't matter. Whatever's going to give me the best chance to have my team do well, I don't really care. I can play either. I think with my speed, I think forward is probably a better opportunity for our team because I can get on the forecheck quick, get the puck out, and get to those guys that can score goals, get them the puck. But speed and roller is good on D, and in D, speed is good. So in roller, so it's nice to have that.
Yeah.
So yeah, either way, it doesn't really matter to me. I'll probably do camp. I'll probably work. I'll do forward. But if he says, you want to go D, then I'll go D. It doesn't matter to me. I can do
always keep yourself versatile.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, growing up, I played both anyway. In ice, I played forward for the most part because I was a smaller guy. You don't really see a lot of small D playing ice, but in roller, from probably 8 years old, I played forward and D in roller. So it's either way, doesn't matter.
It's funny. I was a forward, and in '99, my last 2 weeks in high school, I went out to LA and tried out for the Bullfrogs on open camp.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to play D. I'm like, well, I can skate backwards better than anybody here. So I guess I'll try D. And I became a defenseman out of that camp. So
yeah, it's interesting, and I think that it takes a lot to have vision on the floor too if you're a defenseman. So if you have good vision, you can control the floor and kind of control what's going to happen. And I think I'm good at that. So it'll help. But
so what do you think of the other rosters? We got Grand Rapids, Port Huron, St. Louis. Which team are you most excited to play against?
Port Huron, 100%.
Why is that?
Well, half because some of the guys I know from Detroit are on that team, so it's going to be fun to have that rivalry. Like Hodge, him and I go way back, and we're good friends, but when we play against each other, it literally comes down to bloodbath. You know what I mean? So we're tough on each other, and I like that rivalry that we're going to have. But seeing, Novak and Krogman on the team too, that's going to add a lot to that team. And I always enjoyed playing against Novak, not only just to play against him, but seeing his creativity is unbelievable. So it's going to be fun to see him play and be in the league. I'm excited that he decided to get in the league and play, and it's going to be good to see him. So,
yeah, Port Huron is the team for me out of the three that I'm kind of lost. I know of Spezia, obviously, and I know Novak, the rest of the guys. I'm like, so they're, to me, the misnomer. Right. Where are they going to be? Are they going to blow us out and be like, oh my God, they're 26-0, or are they going to be, oh my God, they're 0-26? So they're to me the team that's the mystery. What are the teams do you not look forward to playing to? Like, oh God, I don't want to play them. They're gonna beat me up. They're gonna stop us. We're not gonna score.
Probably not even a scoring sense, but more the intensity of the team is St. Louis. I think they're going to be real intense. Combs is on that team, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that he can get aggressive, and he's a solid player, obviously. So I know that, you rub him the wrong way, you get a nice whack once in a while. So that worries me a little bit. But, that team definitely scares me to play. And when it comes to Grand Rapids, like, I think that it's tough to know how they're going to be. I know McCollum was signed in Grand Rapids. Am I right there?
Yeah.
And I played with Tommy multiple tournaments, and the kid is unbelievable. So scoring on them is going to be real hard. That's just what it comes down to, But so it's hard to say who worries me the most, but it's probably a tie between Grand Rapids and St. Louis, just because I know Grand Rapids' goaltending is going to be phenomenal, and St. Louis scares me on sense of intimidation, maybe. But
yeah, Grand Rapids is the team that a lot of the quote unquote roller guys we don't know. It's all ice hockey players.
Yeah.
But what they don't know is they're actually all roller hockey players that played up until 18, 19. And
right.
Like Alex Brooks. You played with Brooksy,
yeah,
didn't you?
Me and Brooksy go way back. Like probably, sorry, I'm plugging in my phone. Probably when we were like, 18. I mean, he's a little younger than I am, but I think we played 18 and under all the way up to maybe junior in roller. So I know Brooksy really well. Great dude too, great kid. But yeah, the kid's phenomenal. I mean, it's crazy to see where he was and where he's at now. It's wild. So
yeah, I mean, East Coast Hockey League All-Star last year.
Yeah.
And then Shane Bennett from playing in the tournaments, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I played with him with excitement. I think it might have been last year. Him and his brother. I played with both of them on excitement for State Wars or NRHL. I don't remember which one, but yeah. So I mean, it's the kid's phenomenal too. So,
but they have toughness. I don't know how much you know about their toughness, but
Tristan Grant. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Yeah, that's that's the other side of things is, and like I said, I don't know him that well because I've never played with him or against him. So, but from what I hear and what I've watched, it's yeah.
So nice as can be, nicest guy.
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
don't
sure
rub
I'm going
it
to
the
line up
wrong
against
way.
him. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not as crazy with my stick as I used to be anyway. So when I was younger, I used to stick people like crazy. Now I'm a little more laid back. I'm getting old, so
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, I mean, the dynamic's just going to be different on which team you play. The roller hockey team like a St. Louis, you might stick more because that's how they're used to playing, and you're not worried as much about just getting two-handed and gloves dropping, and because that's not their style. But a team like Grand Rapids or even Detroit, you might be a little less likely to give an extra slash because that Shiner or Grant or Zidlowski's right there and they're coming after you for touching a snow.
Right.
But you might feel like you can play like you're 6 feet tall because you're on Zidlowski's line.
Right, yeah. And usually that's what happens. So we'll see. I don't know. I get a little wild sometimes. So.
Touch me. Come here, buddy.
Right.
So what is something nobody knows or something that fans would find interesting about Smolinski? Favorite food, favorite music, a hobby?
Well, I mean, my hobby is going to the gym, I guess. So that's not really interesting, but let me see. I'm addicted to energy drinks, if that helps. I don't know. I love energy drinks. Yeah, when I'm at work, I work at Pure Hockey. So when I'm at work, I probably suck down 2 or 3 energy drinks a day. Yeah, it's not good for you. But when it comes to health, I'm great up until that point. So it's like I'll eat healthy, I'll do healthy things, and then when it comes to energy drinks, man, I'm addicted. So that's other than that, that's about as interesting as I get, I guess. I don't really have much going on for me. So
now, I know that we in the first 2 seasons we had it. That opening night was huge. I mean, Dumars was popping at the seams, and we had 2,500 people in there, and the atmosphere was intense. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But now we're talking a whole new level, and I'm not sure you've ever experienced that level of when you go into Detroit and there's 2,600 standing room only, Smolinski jerseys in the stands, girls with signs, kids with signs. How's it going to feel for you? How bad do you think the nerves are going to be?
Well, to be honest, I get nervous before any game, so that's besides the point. So I mean, I'm sure it'll be even upscaled more. But I think the experience that is going to be is just. I don't think anybody can really think about it. I think it's something that unless you experience it, you don't know. And obviously, some of these guys like LaRose, they played in the NHL, so he knows what it's going to be like. And even the East Coast guys that are in it, they know. But guys that are strictly roller guys, that maybe played travel just growing up and little junior, they may not know exactly how intense it's going to be. And the buzz that was going on in even the first 2 weeks, I'll say, for the first NRHL season, like it was insane. How many you couldn't even walk. Like I had family come and watch every game, and I couldn't even walk to my family because there were so many people standing next to each other. And it's like seeing that and making the NRHL to that point is going to be awesome. So I think that I'm going to be nervous getting into it, but when I get on the floor and see all those fans and see everybody watching, it's going to be more adrenaline than anything, and it's just going to go away. And that's usually what happens to me anyway. I'm nervous before I step on the floor. Where as soon as I step on the floor, everything changes. It's not even there anymore. But it's going to be awesome to see that many people watching a roller game. It's just the dream for roller guys,
Yeah. I mean, you're going to skate into the snake pit of 9,600. The team you're playing the most, 9,600 people. Family Arena is a legitimate arena. When you drive up, you're looking up at the ceiling. It's a big building, and the intimidation factor at first will hit some of you guys, I think. It'll wear off.
Yeah, I think so.
Real quick. But, even Grand Rapids sits 5,000, and they're on top of you in Grand Rapids because it's kind of the building's big, but there are two sides on each side of the rink, and they're on top of you, and they sit up just above where the boards will be so that you can right over the glass.
Yeah. That's kind of how Port Huron set up too, right? They had the fans are like above us, right? Yeah. I played ice multiple times in McMorran. That place is unreal to play at. So I'm excited to see that.
So I think the buildings we have are all a little different. They're going to bring some excitement for you guys. What do you look forward to the most? What's the biggest thing you look forward to playing in this NRHL again?
Honestly, the fact that roller is finally on the big stage, I'll call it, I think that, all these guys are like, oh yeah, you're going to get paid, whatever. To me, that's not as big of a deal. Like, obviously it's great. Don't get me wrong. But I think the fact that roller is going to have these players are going to have somewhere to look up to. These young kids are going to be like, wow, even if I don't make it in ice, I can go roller. I can play roller all through and make it to NRHL and make money playing roller too. And I think for me, and I've always been about growing the game and making the game stronger. And I think that is so important to us that that's probably what I'm looking forward to most. Even just, talking to kids and players after games, did you have fun today? Things like that. I think that's what I'm looking forward to. The first season we had a few signings and autograph signings after a game, and having 10 little kids run up to you at the table was one of the best feelings in the world. So seeing that and having that happen is going to be, I think, what most players are going to enjoy, whether they say it or not. I think that's going to be a lot of it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fact of us growing the game and making the game somewhere where young kids can play is what's important. And I'm excited to see that.
That's awesome. And it's pretty humble of you to be like, yeah, I like when they came up to me, because most guys are like, yeah, I don't really want to do it. But they're inside, they're like, yeah, give me the Sharpie. I want to sign. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's something that even for a 6-year-old kid, that's something they're going to remember forever. Whether they play roller, whether they play hockey or not, that 6-year-old kid is going to come up to you and remember that forever. Like, oh, the Dragon, Smolinski signed this stick of mine or whatever it is, and, or signed his stick and gave it to me or whatever it may be. That person's always remember that. So, and that's what keeps kids involved in the sport. And I think, excited about the sport. So
I just read the other day a story about Shanahan wanted an autograph and he didn't get it. So he was part of his motivation to make the NHL so he could beat that guy up. And he did his rookie year apparently, because he didn't get the autograph. The guy was a jerk. He beat him up in his rookie year.
That's actually awesome.
I heard a motivation, I met Michael Jordan. He really motivated me, and I was so cool I got to play against him. Not, I got motivated so I could beat him up.
I hope Shannon signed him an autograph and gave it to him after that. That would have been funny.
So, yeah, interesting. Those are the kind of things that are funny, and I do think you have that impact on a kid regardless if you realize it or not. And we hear the stories a lot of, well, I met them when I was 12 and they were on my wall, and now I'm playing against them, and that's really cool. And
right.
Our purpose, and we know, you guys know, especially ones who were here in the beginning, it wasn't just about the major league. It was about the foundation of the sport and us giving them a launching pad to go to, and then we work our way through that, because without this, the youth doesn't grow. Because every parent's chasing that ultimate dollar dream, and roller hockey didn't have it. So we're only hoping to expand and explode the tournaments and the leagues around the arenas. I think you'll see arenas start opening again rather than shutting down. So we're excited, and we got a lot going on. we appreciate guys like yourself with the support and the sharing of things. And
For sure.
I know you've been a big supporter since the beginning with the first interview we ever did of you at Dumars.
Oh yeah, that was. I think I've come a long way since then. So in terms of interviewing, oh man.
Yeah, you have. You've gotten bigger. You look older. You look. I was at the time like, who's the Macaulay Culkin 12-year-old here?
Yeah. The gym helps a little bit, I guess, but
yeah, it's great. So I appreciate your time today. It's been fun and always good to catch up with you guys.
Yeah.
Anything else you want anybody to know about you?
No, man. I think I'm good. I'm just trying to make the team, I guess, is all it comes down to. I want to make sure that I have my spot saved, and that's what's important. So
perfect. Well, good luck, and we'll be in touch throughout the year.
All right.